Hi everyone, welcome to Tints and Tones. Today we are going to draw this scenery with a biker in the middle, and also we are going to draw only with the default brush which is available here. Mostly brushes like airbrushing or dry liner. I'll explain step by step from the sketch from the beginning till the end how to draw this. This is the dimension I'm using. Here I am just drawing using a dry liner brush to start the sketch with, and it will be found under inking. Now I am drawing a horizontal line which is slightly below the center, below the second half, and also drawing a semicircle for the sunset, and then drawing a road. You will have to make sure that the road is the end point is in the corner of the paper, and now this is the narrow portion of the road. Near the sun it will become more narrower, and the rest of the painting I'll be drawing using a paint. Now I'm creating a new layer, going into the brush settings, going into the painting section and choosing I'll choose airbrush section and then choose a medium brush, and in the new layer let me select a color. I'm selecting a light blue here, and also I have just reduced the opacity to 60% here, and just using horizontal motion to color the sky. So now I have finished coloring the sky. Next I will be painting the grass portion, selecting a dull green. Since it's a sunset, it need not be very bright. This video is just draw along with me kind of video, so I'm not fast forwarding or anything. Here I'm reducing the opacity, keeping it at 60% only, slightly increasing the brush size so that you will not get hard edges. After which I'm just using the same color to paint the right side portion as well. There are some paints which is outside the line, and that's okay. We'll switch off the outline layer. I have chosen a yellow color to paint the sun, increase the opacity to 100%. Here I have removed the outline layer and going back to the paint layer. Now let me paint the road. I'm just selecting a purple color, dark purple color, dull purple color, and just saving all the paints which I've used, colors of which I've used in the past, so that I'll use them later. Here I'm using this purple color to color the entire road. I'm still using the same soft airbrush, medium airbrush. Now I'm again reducing the brush size slightly to paint the narrow road. I know I'll get a hard edges since the brush size is lower. I'll use the smudge tool to smudge them over. Long pressing the smudge tool will just replicate whatever the brush I'm using already, the same medium brush, but using the smudge tool instead. That's just to smudge the portion and not have hard edges. Now I'm selecting a darker green and moving on to the soft brush, increasing the brush size slightly, and I'm just leaving a layer portion for the grasses near the road and then painting the other half with the darker green and doing the same thing on the right side as well. I'm coloring orange color and coloring the clouds here. Taking a lighter color orange to color the clouds. So if you can see here, I'm using a round motion. I'm using my hands to color it in the round manner. So moving my hand in the round manner. So this creates a bushy cloudy effect. And I've started in the corner with the thicker clouds and moving to the center with the thinner clouds to just show some perspective. And doing the same thing on the right side as well. Again, I'm using circular motion to color these clouds as well. So I don't use much brushes in this video, in this tutorial. I mostly use airbrush and just one texture brush. You can just follow along. Let me know if I'm fast or slow or if I have to improve anything in my next video. Now I'm selecting a lighter white color. I'm just double tapping to get a pure white, and coloring some of the clouds as white to give some variation in the clouds color, increasing the opacity to 100%. And again taking some orange color to color the lower portion of the sky, and I've reduced the opacity to around 60%. During the sunset, I think the lower portion of the sky will be nice orange color, so I just wanted to show that variation. And then choosing the smudge tool to smudge between the blue and the orange color. Here I'm using the same medium brush. And then moving on to the brush, selecting a white color and choosing a hard brush to draw some lines on the road, reducing the brush size a bit. So in this video I'll not be telling exact percentage, it's all your judgment call. Maybe from next video I'll be putting down the percentage as well. If you want it, let me know the exact size of the brush or the opacity. So here I'm just reducing the opacity slightly to around 80% to draw the line on the edges of the road. As you move to the farther, it will not be much visible, so I'm just blurring it away. It looks fine now. Creating a new layer and choosing a nice orange, bright orange color. Choosing a medium brush now. I'm just going to make the clouds slightly brighter, increasing the brush size so that I'll not have any hard edges. And since it's a sunset and the sun is below the clouds, the below portion of the clouds will be brighter and in a lighter color, and above it will be more darkish, like dark orange or dark purple. I'll use multiple colors. To start with, I'm just using orange color. Let me choose a different color here, a light bluish color, to bring some variation in the clouds. Let me use a smudge brush, same brush, medium brush, greasing the brush size a bit. I'll not be smudging everywhere, it's just here and there. Moving on to a different color, a light purple color, to make the top edges of the clouds much more darker than on orange, to have a depth in the clouds. Do not entirely cover the orange portion, let the orange portion be visible. Since it's a sunset, if you have observed the sky, it's more orange, and I love that orange colors on the sky. So in all the clouds, I'm just coloring the edge portion, and not exactly, just somewhere around the edges. And now I'll merge the layers, duplicate it, and then change it to color burn. So this I do usually to just increase the contrast a bit. I'll reduce the opacity as well. It's just a very minute difference. And then I'll merge them. So I'm just showing you the difference by undoing it. This is the difference which you can see, and merging it again. Now going to the brush, let me see how I can add more depth in it. Choosing a soft brush, I'm going to add some lights in the road, reflections on the road, converting it to multiply. Reducing the opacity to around 20%, and then just covering the top portion of the road, selecting more brighter yellow color since it's very light and not visible. Opacity around 60%, and I'm just coloring the road. I'm just using horizontal motion with my finger, moving the entire hand, not the finger, to have some flexibility. Choosing a darker yellow, darker orangish yellow as you move further away. Just trust the process, it will be fine in the end. Even though now it looks like the colors are everywhere split and it's not cohesive, we'll make it cohesive. Reducing the brush size to 2 to 3%, using a purple color. I'm going to paint the mountains here using a light purple color to begin with, and later on I'll darken it. Opacity also I'm using a medium opacity, not very dark. Just painting the same way, just moving the entire hand and not the wrist. It will help to paint with a free motion. Moving slightly towards the red to have a darker portion of the mountains, so it has increased the darkness of the color. And now again I'm just painting the front mountains, and the back side it remains lighter. I'm using the same soft brush, choosing a darker yellow color and darkening the sky. I'm just giving some more depth here to all the clouds, just making it more brighter by using a darker yellow. If you see, I'm just coloring the center portion. Since the opacity is less, you'll be able to see the orange color which I gave first. Now what I'll do is I'll just create a new layer, selecting a light blue color, selecting a new layer and bringing it to the bottom. Just hold it and drag it below. Now using the same brush, choosing a darker blue color, increasing the opacity to 100%. And just darkening the lower portion. Since it's the bottom layer, it will not affect the other layers, it will not disturb the other colors, so I'm just keeping it in the bottom and using a darker blue. Also using an orange color, since the lower portion of the sky is nice and orange. And using orange color as well, reducing the opacity to color the lower portion of the sky. Let me give some textures here using a texture brush. I'll put it in the screen what brush I'm using. Using a white color to give some textures on the clouds. I'm doing this on the multiply layer. Going back to the paint layer, again I'm just using the white brush, same texture brush, to give more texture. Including random clouds in the picture. Using an yellow color as well. Choosing a luminance brush, a light pen brush, light yellow color, and I'm just giving the cloud line below, giving some outline. This outline will be in the bottom portion since it's a sunset. After this, I'll be using a smudge brush. Let me use a eraser brush, going back to the same airbrush, using a soft brush. Oh no, I'll go back to the brush. I'm using a white color, using the same soft brush, and just coloring some highlights on the grass portion. I'll go to the airbrush. Just keeping the brush size as 1%, increasing the opacity, giving some highlights on the grass, increasing the brush size slightly to 2%. Doing the same thing for the grass as well, which is nearby to the road. So I'm just using up down motion to give some highlights here, using the same white color. Giving some highlights to the clouds as well. Exactly in the center I'll be using white color. There'll be a group of clouds, so it will just separate it. Just add some depth. I'm just merging all the layers. I'll use using the smudge brush to merge the clouds behind. Just using a medium smudge brush. Only the top portion of the clouds I'm making it softer. Now it looks fine. Let me go to the layers, create a new layer, and let me make it cohesive, changing the effects to overlay, and then choosing a dark blue color, filling the layer with blue color, and then reducing the opacity to around 10 to 15%, and then just increasing the blue color using a different blue, making it darker, reducing the opacity further, and just checking if it is all cohesive enough. Now creating a new layer, putting it in an add effect using the same soft brush, choosing a light yellow color, using the luminance brush, light pen brush, to add some lights here. So this is how we usually add some lights to the image. And after brushing this stroke, I'll be using Gaussian blur to blur this effect and reduce the opacity. Going on to the layer opacity and reducing the opacity. After that, I'm just choosing the effects and using the Gaussian blur to blur it as much around 25%, and using a smudge brush to pull the light over instead of having a hard edge. Here I'm just checking if everything is fine. If you are satisfied with all the layers and all the colors, just go to the layers and just smudge. If you smudge all the 3 layers, it might look different, so I'm just not merging all the layers together. I'm just clicking undo, creating a new layer and going to the texture airbrush, choosing a light dull blue, making the lower portion of the road lightly darker. I'm just moving the layer below the light layer, making it darker. After making it darker, I'll just erase a portion of it. Moving on to the erase brush, increasing the opacity, increasing the size as well. I'm just erasing the center portion so that the light is visible. I'm just going to the base layer, smudging the highlights of the grass more. Just smudging the highlight portion of the grass. Also smudging some of the clouds as well. As I told before, I'll not be smudging the entire place. It will not look very good. Just smudging random places. Now the reflection also looks good, the clouds also looks good. Selecting a darker blue color and making the top portion as well dark. Going to the base layer, creating a new layer, moving them to the bottom again just to make it darker in the top corner. Now I made the top portion of the sky darker. You have used the soft brush and it's below and moving on to the paint layer. Just painting some darker clouds in front of the sun. Erasing some portion in the center to make it more brighter, to make the sun more brighter. Just erasing the center portion of the sun using the same soft brush. Going on to the brush, going to the texture and using the rectangle brush, using a darker green to give some bush effect. After giving this in both the direction, like left and in the right bushes, just bringing on some texture. This rectangle brush I'm using to bring some texture, and after that I'll be drawing some rider bike as well in the center. Choosing a dry ink brush, creasing the size of the brush, and drawing some antennas on both the side of the road. As you go farther from the road, the height of the antenna also reduces, which it gives some perspectives to the drawing. Now I'm going to draw the wire in between, so I'm just giving some support in the top of the antenna. Now let me look at it for a second. It looks fine now, it looks very lovely. Now I'm going to draw the bike. So starting with a small circle, have taken a darker color here, and then drawing a rectangle. It's just simple shapes, so I'm just going to draw a triangle kind of shape now. Now again a square, and then the wheel. So in between the squares I'll just give some lights in some different colors. Before that I'll draw the hands. Some mirrors. Just taking a different color for the light. I'm just adding some more different colors for light, and I'll be just making it more dark as well. Giving some reflections in the mirror. Selecting a dark blue and just coloring one portion of it. Selecting a medium hard brush to give some more darker variations. Just checking the color and which layer I'm painting on. Selecting some reddish color. More darker. Now it looks fine. Selecting a more blackish color. This looks fine. Since I have drawn the same biker in the same layer, I'm just selecting it using the selecting tool. After selecting it, I'll just duplicate it and or copy paste it. Let me show you how I do that. I'll just use my 3 fingers, use the copy, again 3 fingers, drag it from top to below and paste it. Now I'm just going to invert it, flip vertically and then move it below. Now this is copied in the separate layer. Now let me reduce the opacity, put it in multiply mode and reduce the opacity. Now this looks good. Using a Gaussian blur to blur it around 4%, this should be good. Now let me reduce or increase it further to 50% of opacity. This looks fine, looks beautiful. It is all cohesive enough and the sun rays is falling good. Merging few of the layers. Except the light layer, you can merge all the layers. Going to the paint layer. This is in the add mode and you will not be able to merge that. It will create a different effect. I'm just using smudge tool to smudge more of the clouds, make it soft. Using the circular motion as well. Just pulling it towards the center with a light pressure, not much pressure. That is all. If you like, please like it, like the video, follow for more videos and subscribe. And now I'm using a multiply mode just to add some reflections on the road. I'm using the same soft brush to add some reflections on the road. This is the final step. Let me know how it looks in the comment section, and also let me know if you want more such tutorials. Hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share if you want. Let me introduce tintsandtones.com website, which is my own website where I sell my products, and these illustrations are illustrated by me. Like for example, these bookmarks where I print my own illustrations, these are laminated, also very durable. Some greeting cards, I'm yet to launch some more greeting cards, and I also have some to-do fridge magnets which you can plan your day. Check out other products as well. Thank you.